Hey guys, it's Heather from Tomatoes, Poppies, and Everything Gardening. I'm in town. I had to do some errands, including going to the DMV. It was horrible. I was there for like an hour and a half, and it was very, very stressful. I'm so glad it's over. Anyway, so I thought, you know what? We're in town. Let's stop at the library and decompress before you head home. I've got the afternoon to myself. No kids, no nothing. I don't have to hurry back. Please stick with the video. I know it may not seem like I'm coming to a point with this, stopping at the library. There is a point. I'm in a room I've never showed you before. I'm in my writing room. I am a writer. I haven't done any writing for the last 3 years since COVID started, but I have a passion uh, in that field. So I do want to kind of elaborate on the whole AI business and writing. I'm not going to focus on any other genres of art, and writing is art. And so I want to kind of talk about that at the end of the video. So I hope you'll stay tuned so we can chat about that soon. And I've been wanting to do this collaboration video for Roots and Refuge for the book recommendations. And so I'm going to focus on gardening books as I head into the library and see what we can find. What I'm hoping for is some brand new books that have just been released this year that I can check out and kind of look through for you guys. And I'm also going to look at the clearance, not the clearance, but like the used books, because I think you can find a lot of gems there too. And then when we get back home, sorry, I'm just so thirsty. I should have got something to drink before I started this. I tell you, the DMV just takes the life out of you. I couldn't work there because it would just be so depressing. Um, we're going to just review some of my books at home too, because I have quite a few and I do recommend some, but I'm really curious to see what is new at the library. So let's get inside and have a peek. Look at my ring later. I have a camellia. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's so pretty. I wonder what the name of this one is. I'm gonna have to look that up. What a gorgeous specimen. I may have to come back with scissors. A little bit carried away, but I stopped when my arms were so full I couldn't carry anything else. Some lily pads in there. I'm gonna head back to the car. So I've got these two books here for my youngest daughter to read if she so chooses. I'm gonna highly recommend them though. I have read the adult version of the book on the right, Braiding Sweetgrass. It's by, I think she's a botanist, maybe. But she's a scientist who has all this collection of essays that are really, really worth reading or listening to the audiobook. I think I listened to the audio. So I'm hoping my daughter will enjoy this book. And then the one on the left is just for fun. It's also nonfiction. You know, our dog Tonto kind of looks a little bit like a wolf. We often hear that. So I thought she would enjoy this book I got for me to browse and really, really go through, because I don't know, it's a huge, thick book. It's probably 2 inches thick. It looks very promising. I'll get this home and go through this tonight while we're watching a show. Report back to you guys. So I picked up off of the brand new books shelf. So I'm going to go through those and have a peek. This one is Small Scale Homesteading. This one is called the Herb Gardening Handbook. So that one should be very interesting too. It's on the regular nonfiction shelf. It sounded too good to be true, so I had to check it out because it says cherry tomatoes in 8 weeks, sprouts in 3 days. So maybe it's a gimmick. I'll go through this later and let you know what's inside. The new book list was Jill's book, The Tiny But Mighty Farm. So I thought that was interesting. It was just right there on the brand new bookshelf. And then also wait until you see this last book that I checked out. It's the kitchen front book. And I know Jessica from Roots and Refuge has recommended this book a couple different times. It's by Jennifer Ryan. So I was like, you know what? That isn't meant to be. This is my next to read book. Anxious to get started with this. So we're going to head home, guys. I'm going to browse these tonight. Later or tomorrow, I'm going to recommend a few more books that I already have in my house. And then I'll give you a little synopsis of these books as I browse through them. This is just a fraction of some of the writing books that I own that have helped me over the years with writing. I mean, just a fraction. Workshops, classes, you know, other formats of learning to hone in your skill. Just workshopping someone else's paper, reading someone else's work, editing their stuff. There is a lot that goes into creating anything, but I'm going to just talk about writing today, because evidently this AI problem is affecting a lot of different genres of art. So let's just talk about the writing. I think what I'm going to do is make this video into part one, which was kind of us visiting the library and talking a little bit about this whole AI and writing problem. And then part two will come later, closer to, say, December, maybe early December, when people are ready for Christmas shopping. I think I'll put together a list of books that I personally own and personally have read and have in my collection for gardening. But I'm just going to kind of finish up and wrap up this video with some examples at the end here in a few minutes of where you can kind of look at some writing and tell if it's AI generated or human written. So once I kind of started looking into all this information in the last 24 hours, I was kind of getting very angry and a sense of injustice. And so that's why this video is kind of morphing just slightly. There's a writer, her name is Jane Friedman. I think she used to be an agent as well, a literary agent. But she does a lot of programs for writers. She does a lot of books for writers. She writes herself. And evidently what happened is some AI computer generated programs were actually learning her material so that they could write in her voice, in her format, her tone. And that just made me so angry. I mean, there was a thing going on probably like 4, 5, 6 years ago where it was in the news a lot in the writing world about people plagiarizing your poetry. You know, they would just copy it. They would put it on some other foreign outlet in another country. You would probably never know that they had copied your work and submitted it as their own to publish somewhere else. So that was infuriating. But this AI thing is maybe more infuriating because it's not even a human calculating and making this choice. Humans are using these formats, this new technology of AI, to create and sometimes mimic the work of other writers. So I find that to be very, very offensive because it takes a lot of work to create something. It is a lot of energy, and I think that's why I kind of left writing a few years ago to take a long, long, long break, because it takes a lot of an emotional output from you, and just to create and then switch your mind into the other realm of editing. It's a very Jekyll and Hyde experience, and it shouldn't be done by a computer. And if someone's going to do that and create and have a tone and a voice and an impact with the writing, it's just very insulting to think that a computer could try to mimic that and take their work from them and try to profit off of that. So I did get really upset. I can't help it. So with that, all of that out there, just go Google all that. Google Jane Friedman, look up her story, and then you can feel offended for her as well. The Writers Guild, they're trying to get some legislation out there right now so that it has to be noted when a customer is buying a product, if it's computer generated or human generated. And I think that is the way to go, because if you want to buy AI writing, that should be your right. But if I want to buy a book and know that it's written by a human, I should have the right to also know that it is written by a human, which is my preference, because there's all these nuances that go into writing. And so that's going to lead me to how to spot AI writing. I don't think I've had experience reading that, but I have read a lot of human work, and you can tell. I mean, we're going to look at some examples with the kitchen book that I picked up. We're going to go through there. I'm going to screenshots some pages, and we're going to talk about what I see as a writer looking at something that's been written. There's tone, there's voice, there's mood, there's dialogue. And, you know, with good writing, the dialogue is a little different with each character. So those are the things you, as a person wanting to buy material and wonder, is it written by human or is it written by AI? Those are things I think are really going to be hard for that computer to replicate. Because when I read, I can see things, you know, imagery. I'm not sure if a computer could create imagery in my mind. I would like to find some material and read it and see what I conjure in my head. But good writing creates all of those things. So that would be one thing we can look at, is the writing, the actual writing. Another thing I'm thinking of to kind of weed out would be look at the back of the book. There should be an author's picture and a write-up about them. And then you could go Google them. You could look them up on Twitter. Oh, I don't even know if it's not called Twitter, I don't think. I used to do Twitter. I don't do it anymore. You could look them up just on Google. Just see if they're a real person. So that would be step 2. Definitely you wouldn't want to purchase just to look at step 1. I mean, that's going to be something that would be after you made that purchase, I guess. But reviews, you could look at reviews. Goodreads is a great place to look at reviews of books. I do that all the time. You know, there's so many books to read in the world that often I go on Goodreads and I'll type in the title, kind of pan through the reviews. And if it's lower than like 3.5-ish, I usually won't read it because life is short and I've got so many books I need to read. So just read those reviews. You'll get a sense of, hey, there's something off. You know, the dialogue sounds weird, or the grammar is totally weird. You know, the reviews are going to say a lot. So I would say, yeah, look at the reviews, look up the author, especially if you're looking at, say, a Kindle book on like Amazon and there's no author listed, no publisher listed. That's going to be a red flag, right? I made some notes, so let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Don't think so. Oh, the last thing I want to kind of conclude with would be the whole point of this video. The library. So if you're going to a library that has staff that support that library, there's probably at least, depending on the size of your library, 1 to 3 people working there that are involved in, probably more, involved in purchasing books. And so they have to do research to purchase those books. They have standards and guidelines that they have to look at. So I would hope that librarians or people involved with purchasing those titles would be asking questions. And a good question for you to ask when you go check out your books: do you guys purchase AI books? What are you doing to make sure customers are aware of that type of material? Is this something I need to worry about when I'm checking out books? So that was the point of this video, to help prevent having AI books, gardening books, fiction books, nonfiction books. And nonfiction, that really, I think, is a very important area to make sure you are not getting material that was just generated, and that you are getting material that has authority to back up those words. Someone who has the experience, the credentials, the life experience, whatever it may be, to make sure that those words are true. And one of the articles I read online was talking about the book on Amazon that was foraging mushrooms. And that has since, supposedly, according to this Washington Post article, been removed. But there could be more popping up. I mean, I imagine this could be an issue where these books are just popping up for sale. And if there's no regulation, I could see this becoming a real big problem. So yeah, maybe keep in mind all of these tips. And to be super safe, you could always just head to your local library, check out the books before you purchase them, or just check them out, read them, return them, or check them out, look through them, decide, okay, this looks like a legit book. It has an author. I can look at the back, see their little bio, look at their picture, look them up online. I can look through the pages, kind of assess that writing. Does it sound authentic? But I would say very high percentage of books at that library are going to be human written. And when I go in next time, I'm going to talk to them about this. So that's it for this video. No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's look at a few samples from that Kitchen House book so we can kind of look at the tone, the voice, and the dialogue.